bike costs $900, this bike costs a few thousand.
It's easy to assume that the more expensive bike will be better, well, because it costs more. But today, we're at the bike park and we're gonna see if that's actually true. I'll be going full speed on both of these bikes on the same trail and see which one gets faster times. We're also gonna be seeing just a general feel of each.
Oh my god.
And at the end, we're gonna be taking my cheaper bike to a bit more gnarly trails at a different bike park and see how it holds up.
Alright, first big wooden feature ever.
Before we start testing the bikes, let me quickly explain the differences between them. My bike here is known as a hardtail because there's suspension here in the front, but not in the back. Whereas the rental bike, there's suspension here, just like mine in the front, but there's also suspension in the back of the bike. These types of bikes are called full suspensions. So before doing the time on each bike, I did a warm-up run on my hardtail, and then a bit of riding on the full suspension, so that I wouldn't have a super huge advantage because I've just ridden more on my bike. So for the trail that we raced down, we chose one that was a bit more technical so we could really feel the difference that the full suspension bike makes. The route that we ended up doing was just under a mile on a section of trail called Broby 1. So my dad headed to the bottom of the run, and then once he got down there, he called me. We had to sort out a few little technical details.
Open the clock app on your phone.
But then we were ready to go.
2, 1, start it. Start it.
So during the race, there was 2 to 3 major differences I found between the bikes. The first one I noticed on this section. You're going pretty fast, but it's still definitely bumpy and pretty narrow trail that you don't want to just kind of slide off of. You want to be a bit cautious. So on the full suspension bike, I was honestly able to just let go of the brakes and just let the bike do the work for me over these bumps. Whereas on the hardtail, you can't let the bike do the work for you, and you can just feel the ground a bit more. So it made me a bit more nervous to just really go for it. I wonder how much effect this will have on the time of each bike down this race. The other thing I noticed that's kind of connected is I have to be very intentional with every movement on the hardtail. So on berms like this, where you kind of is kind of bumpy, rooty, and sandy, I was thinking about things like, okay, how can I get my back tire on this route and not get it stuck? Whereas on the full suspension, I'm thinking like, what is the fastest way down this trail? And even if that means going through the toughest part. And the part where I noticed this last difference was on a slightly more challenging part of the trail. It's a little bit of a drop off where you can roll or hop off. On my hardtail, when I go off this drop, if I go for air, I kind of have to use my body as a suspension, so I have to shift my weight a lot more. Whereas on the full suspension, it's a minimal setback that I can just continue crushing down like nothing ever happened.
That's definitely smoother right there.
So now we're at the bottom of the trail. Let's see how much all these differences affected the outcome of the race.
Now. What I get? I'm gonna say 3 minutes, 32 seconds.
5 minutes, 47 seconds.
So last one is 5:47. I'm gonna guess like 5:30. 15 seconds faster.
So even with the added maneuverability on my hardtail, I still got 19 seconds faster on the full suspension. Yet, even on the hardtail, I had a ton of fun at this bike park since it isn't so intense. But now we're gonna head to a slightly more difficult one. 6-minute ski bowl bike park up there. It says full suspensions are strongly recommended. And despite the literal signs telling us this might be a bad idea, we still headed up the lift, did a very sketchy bike fix with some duct tape. We did a quick warm-up run, and then it was time for the more gnarly trails. This is the trail that I always pass by on and thought, maybe I'll try that in a few years. This is the trail that I thought, I'd do when I get a better bike. This is the trail that I thought only experts went. But today, there was no excuses. We were going straight for it. So the first section that was a bit more difficult was this little tech rock garden. On the hardtail, you kind of had to pick your way and really choose which way you want to go to be able to get to the bottom smoothly. I know I wasn't going the fastest, but this was literally the limit of my bike pretty much. The bottom of my back bike was smashing all the rocks, and I'm honestly surprised something didn't break hearing all those sounds. But as we got closer to the bottom of the trail, it was doing awesome. So honestly, throughout this comparison, I've learned that price does not equal more fun. So use whatever bike you have and have fun. And this is my first video of real life biking on my channel, so if you like it, let me know in the comments so I can try to do some more.